So a couple of weeks ago at a district meeting for the SGI Brenner District, um, we were talking about why do we come to these meetings? Is it because the person who shakabuku'd us called and reminded us, or was it because we were drawn to it? You know, and it was my turn, and the district leader asked the question of me. I said that I came because I wanted change in my life. And then I mentioned I was a writer. So I mentioned that I wrote poetry, and the next thing I know, I'm reciting this poem that I had on the top of my head that I was going to write a couple of nights ago prior. The power went out, and I simply forgot. And so, in that moment, I was on the spot, and the district leader asked me to recite the poem. The poem I recited is different from the poem that I've finally written down. And that's usually the problem. When I have a poem in my head, I either write it on my Tumblr page, or I write it in my book. This is my book. Or I'll record it on this channel, and then I'll walk away from it and never write it down again. Or I'll transcribe it sometimes. But this particular poem was one that I was thinking about writing, that I was feeling that I've been living ever since my 20s have begun. But it seems that now that I'm in my late 20s, it is fact, and I'm trying to change that fact. So here's the latest revision of that poem. 28. Alone. Alien. Watching their lives go by, wondering, when's it my turn? Asking, what have they done, they got, that I don't? 28 years old, watching life go by, late bloomer. My lotus slowly appearing, when's it my turn? Green with envy, blue with loneliness, happy for them yet waiting for mine. Scrambling to build a house, a foundation with wet paper as bricks. Rain falls. What happens next? Frustration from failure. Still the phoenix rises. Ashes dance in the wind. When's it my turn? Not asking for much. I need hope, faith, change. When does my life begin? 28 years. Just the alien lady. Just someone to be loved. Just someone hard on her luck. Ready for newness. When's it my turn? And the moment that I'm saying this poem to myself, my voice was shaking. I was shaking because this is something that I've been going through personally, and I kind of didn't want everybody in the moment to know that. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through that, even if they're not late bloomers. And being the child of a late bloomer, and then being a late bloomer yourself, and then seeing all your friends and your family, they're up and over and beyond, and you're still stuck in the same spot, in the same rut, and you're looking for change. And most of the time I get my sadness out through my writing or reading. Most of the time I get my sadness out by keeping it to myself. And it causes conflict not only with me and my journey as a person, but it causes conflict within my family as well. So I'm going through it, they're going through it, and I really didn't have anyone to talk to about it because I didn't want to talk to the people who I saw they were progressing, and it was just like a weird space to be in, which is stupid because you want to get where they are and you see that they're there, so why don't you talk to them about it and get over your embarrassment? That's a part of being a grown-up, right? But I was so nervous about that poem and so nervous about sharing that part of myself. And then the district leader, he was so touched by it that he cried. And I'm sitting there like, I just made this 40-something-year-old man cry with my little dinky poetry. I didn't think that anybody ever cared, or that my poetry meant anything to anybody, you know? Like, I always felt like, okay, it's me, I'm writing, yeah, I want the recognition, but I don't get it, so then I don't get the recognition, and I feel like I don't deserve it. You know, there are other people who are poets that are better than me, and they're closer to the role of being the poet laureate and the famous poet writing books and publishing. And who am I but this kid from the South Side who's got a lot of angst and a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts. But there are so many people just like me out there, the millennium, the broke millennials, what? And we're just trying to make it, man. One paycheck, one odd job at a time, one crappy life event at a time. We're just trying to make it. And so the district leader looks at me and says, if you are going to be the leader and the voice of the millennials, and that's scary me. I'm not a leader type person. I'm more the background person. Then he says, you're going to be helping them figure out why they're here, why the SGI millennials, or millennials in Chicago, millennials in USA in general, why are they here? What's their purpose? And that was deep. And so here I am, this person wondering what to do with my poetry and when to start reading it to people, how to start doing that. And I had my chance and I did it. And I have my chance with my channel and I'm doing that sometimes. And I just shared one from my book. I'm going to keep trying to do that. But yeah, that was my poem. Unnamed as usual. It's just entitled 9/8/13. It's the first poem I wrote that day. And there you have it. Struggles of a Millennial, written down in red. A couple of stanzas at a time. Later.